and welcome to another episode of Colors of Queenhood. Today we will dive into our very first discussion around the importance of healing properly and dealing with grief. 2020 has been a very rough year for all of us, but we must use this as a lesson to stay together and keep our faith, continue to pray and be strong for ourselves and our families. Despite everything that has been happening this year, life has really made me boss up and embrace who I truly am. I encourage you to keep your head held high, okay? Because you can't wear a crown with your head tilted down. Take a deep breath and straighten your crown. Okay, up first we have an amazing interview from my girl Courtney Lene as she speaks to another entrepreneur in the beauty industry. This lady has created her very own mobile hair salon, y'all. Okay, now tell me that's not lit. Hashtag Black Excellence. Let's check it out.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Colors of Queenhood. I am your host Courtney Lene, and this week's episode is all about straightening your crown. And today we have a special guest by the name of
Angelique.
Yes,
hello everybody.
yes.
I am from San Francisco, California. Whoop, whoop, the Bay Area. I am a recent graduate from Trinity Washington University by way of Morgan Coppin Howard. I am a freelance hairstylist, self-taught. I am now currently in motion to create a mobile hair salon, something that I've been working on for the past 2 years.
Yes,
and
for one, I've never even heard anybody do that, so she's the first.
And we're almost done.
So what does it mean to be a black queen to you?
A black queen to me means that I love my sisters. I empower my sisters. I'm happy for my sisters. Because if I'm happy for my other black queens, then I can be happy for myself. Spreading light and love throughout my spirit would make me a black queen. Success, happiness.
I love it. So I know I've been seeing a lot of posts of like black women saying, you know, straighten your crown, queen. So what does that mean to you?
One, I feel like before you start doing anything to your hair, altering it, weaving it, you know, love your crown first before you create any changes. If you want to put a wig on, if you want to put some weave in, whatever, even if it is, like she said, just straightening your natural hair, knowing that you're beautiful without it, it's always going to make you feel better when you're doing it.
What is the name of your brand and how did you get it started?
My brand is called Glam Gal Inc. It was inspired by my grandmother. We're from the Caribbean, so I didn't want it to be glam girl. That's where the gal came from. I started with like $300. I bought some hair and started to sell wholesale after I had spent a lot of money like buying you know, sample kits and testing hair. So it was a real trial and error. It's not something that you can actually get help with. You kind of have to do your own thing. It's a lot of numbers, you know. If I buy this and I want my profit to be this much, how much can I sell it for? I need to know how much I need to spend. So with not having any business background, it was very hard. But you know, God always made a way. So I always, you know, give credit to the Most High, because without him, would not be possible.
Look, nothing's possible, period. I like that. So let's talk a little bit more about your mobile hair salon. What inspired that vision?
Well, I started looking into, you know, boutique locations and how much it may cost to renovate a space that I'm renting or leasing from someone. Monthly upkeep, things like that. So I'm like, you know what better way to create location, branding and transportation all in one. You know, basically was my thing. Like, okay, I won't ever really have to pay for rent, you know, or mortgage or whatever those things are. The actual like upkeep of running a landline, you know, location. So I'm like, mobile is the way to go. I've seen, you know, a mobile hair salon. I've seen mobile pet grooming. So who wouldn't want, you know, this truck to pull up and do their hair at their front door? So makes things a lot more easy, convenient for people who don't have transportation, you know. I just thought about all that, like how many girls I've had to pick up just to get their hair done and things of that sort. So.
Okay. Who are some entrepreneurs in the hair industry that have actually inspired you to become even more than what you probably expected you can be? Who are those people?
I look up to Ming Lee. I don't know if people are familiar with her, but Ming Lee was someone that I first started buying hair from, maybe back in high school.
Wow.
Her story really inspired me. I look up to Kendra's Boutique as far as in contracts and things that you need from brand ambassadors and things of that sort. Oh, April Diva Styles. She's out of Baltimore. Go ahead, April. Do your thing.
Look.
I love April. April is just amazing. One of like I guess if you want to say like up close and personal people, me living on the East Coast in the DMV for the past 6 years, she is someone that I look up to for inspiration.
Yeah.
So. And of course, Madam C.J. Walker. You cannot forget Madam C.J. Walker.
She started everything.
The start of it all.
What advice would you give another person trying to get into cosmetology?
Just start. Whether you're in the kitchen, whether you have to do hair out of your dorm, just start and do it. Don't be discouraged by, seeing other people. They may do the same thing that you're doing. Don't allow any of that to get in the way of, what you really want to do. Every day that you spend not doing it is a day that you just wasted. So stay motivated, stay dedicated. Don't take those days off. I know they feel good. No, do not do it. There's something that you could be doing, teaching yourself about your brand, teaching yourself about branding, period. Learning to market with people. There's just always something that you can do to better your brand and better yourself. We are the complete face of the business, so with that being said, we have to focus on ourselves and our thoughts and things like that. So I would tell myself, just focus and don't waste time, because time is so precious and so valuable.
Wow.
And graduate college fast.
Period. Well, Leek, I want to thank you so much for coming onto our platform. Of course, I know that this interview is going to touch so many people who are, aspiring to do exactly what you're doing. So I just want to say thank you for the kind words of wisdom. Yeah, we thank you from Colors of Queenhood. So until the next time, thank you guys for tuning in. Bye.
Wow, Angelique definitely just dropped some gems. I really love how she touched on our own hair being our crown and truly loving it organically for what it is. All right, it's amazing to know that we have hairstylists that can add extensions to our beauty, but it is important that we know how to feel beautiful with our own natural hair, no matter what the texture or style. It's all about self-love. Now, usually I present my ladies separately throughout the show, but once again, I want to keep you guys guessing. So during this episode, I decided to bring everyone together. We're going to focus on different topics. So here it is, the Queen's Corner, our very first open discussion. Let's check it out. Hi, everybody. Look who I'm here with. My ladies are in the building, okay? This is our segment we like to call the Queen's Corner. Here we're going to discuss different topics pertaining to things that we personally are going through or things that we think will be helpful for you. So I'm gonna allow them to go around and introduce themselves, and then we're gonna jump into our topic for today.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl BG with the T, and I am here in the building. You know, your favorite mentor, motivator, and powerhouse influencer.
Yeah. Period. Okay, yes. Hey everybody, it's your girl Courtney Lene, host, actress, all of that in one. Honey, I'm a mogul. What's up? Talk to me.
Okay, mogul talk.
Nice. It's your girl Reese Rowe, actress, host, founder of the You Are the Prize Club, and I'm so excited to be here with you ladies today.
I'm so excited to have y'all here. This is our first time being in person. I know for episode 1 and 2, you've seen everybody doing those individual segments, and you will still see those segments coming your way. But this is what's making my day, okay? I'm so happy that everybody's here. And today's discussion, we're going to talk about grief. We're going to talk about what it's like to lose. For me personally, I've lost my mom this year, so it has really affected a lot. My whole world has turned upside down. My entire life has changed. But what I want us all to talk about is how we have been impacted by 2020. Because 2020, we have lost a lot. Literally, with coronavirus, with people dying, with relationships changing, grief is just all around us, everywhere. So for me personally, y'all know, I just said it, like I've lost my mom this year. So February 13th, I lost my Valentine. It has changed my life. I'm surprised that I'm still functioning. I'm proud that I'm still functioning, but it has not been easy for me. I think I make it look easy, and I feel like I've always been that strong friend, so people just assume that she good, she alright, she's posting on Instagram, she's fine.
Which we have to stop doing that.
Yeah.
And
And
check
I
on your
think
strong friends. For real.
definitely check on your strong friends. I think a part of me wish I wasn't so strong, so I can have the support that I feel like I really need at times. Because it's not always easy. People say, oh, but just call me if you need me, or if you're feeling sad, just let me know. Who's really in those moments?
Yeah.
Let me call Sharice, let me call Brittany, let me call Courtney. You know, it's like, it's hard, and I think it's something we need to talk about, like how to deal with it. I know for me personally, I have been dealing with it through creating. That's how the show kicked off. Honestly, I've been sitting on this idea for a long time, and it was just like something that went off of me. It was just like, you know what? Life is short. You do not have forever, baby. It's like I've lost so many people, but my mom was like the rock of our family, and that just made me feel like right now I'm at rock bottom. Like so.
But you know, from rock bottom, the only way to go is up.
That's it.
We learn so much
That's it.
in those spaces of dark time, and you know, when you're at your lowest, there's so much you learn about who you are and what you are in that low space, so that when you recuperate, you're able to go up and take all the lessons that you learned in that dark space with you. So, you know, I identify, you know, we talk about it all the time.
Yes.
And I lost my grandmother, who was my rock.
Yeah.
And, you know, I lost my grandmother due to COVID-19, and it's been the strangest world for me. Like, it has been really strange for me, because my grandmother was my go-to person. That was my person. And I know that, you know, her children lost her, but for me, I always joke with her. My grandmother has 6 kids, and I was like, Grandma, I'm your 7th. And so I don't even know how I'm able to function. And like you said, a lot of the times people see you posting, they see you doing this, and they think that you're okay. And it's like, no, but I know that I have to keep going, because if I don't keep going, then who's going to be there for me?
Right.
Especially when you lose somebody like a grandmother, like a mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are 9 times out of 10, those are your support systems. Those are your rock. So it's like, if I don't act okay or pretend to be okay even when I'm not, what's gonna happen when I'm just
But
not
then
there?
what do you do when you don't have the blueprint on how to tell somebody how to be a friend, how to be a cousin, how to be a sister, when you're losing somebody, or when you've lost somebody, right? Or when you don't really know how I'm gonna get by my day to day, you know? And that's been really heavy on my mind, like, to the point I'm like, I feel like I want to write a book, because it's like, I tell my friends all the time, like, I don't know what to tell you on how to be a friend right now to me. I know I might not be in the easiest friend right now, because I have a lot I'm dealing with. I try not to feel like I want to be a burden on people. You ever felt like that? Where you're like, dang, I don't even want to tell them I'm having a bad day today, or I'm missing my mom today, because then I feel like, dang, here we go with this sad story again, or, you know, when is she going to snap out of that? But then you got people that be like, well, you know, you don't have to worry about it. Take as long as you need. But I want to be happy. I don't want to be sad every day.
You know, I think that comes in when you need to start praying. You need to start doing spiritual work, like meditation. Even though you may not be able to articulate to your loved ones how you need them, I think at that point it's time for you to go within yourself and see what you specifically need for yourself from yourself. Because I know it's hard. I feel like I'm always the friend who'll be like, oh, like, I just broke up with him and I can't get over it. And I'll be like, oh, they're probably over me talking about this. So when I feel like I'm talking too much or I'm being too down, I'll be like, okay, Court, this is your time to look within yourself. Do some soul searching, do some digging, do some meditation, pray, get on your knees, pray, talk to God. Because he's never, ever makes me feel like, oh, woe is me, oh, I'm talking too much. Whenever I talk to God, it's like, okay, what's up? Like, talk to me, I'm here, I'm good. Like, what's good? What's going on, you know? So I feel like you don't necessarily need to continuously feel bad because you're feeling a certain type of way. I think it's time for you to just be there for yourself.
I think it depends on excuse me, how old you are as well. Because I know Jewel knows, but I've lost my dad when I was 16. So it's different for me when I was 16. Yes, I grew up in the church and everything, but at 16, when you lose a parent that was your support system, always there, it's not that easy, you know, especially going through high school. You have senior inauguration, you have ring dance, you have everything where your dad used to stand up and cheer, be the loudest cheerleader, and now you're breaking down crying at assembly, you know, meetings and things like that, and your classmates are looking like, what's wrong with her? Knowing that, you know, I just lost someone really close to me, but I feel like in different stages of your life is where you can actually take apart in that mourning process and like try to piece it together or figure out how to get out of the dark place.
Right. So at that age, at 16, what did you do for yourself? Because I know we have audience of all ages, and I know there's somebody around that age group that needs to hear that. So what did you do?
Honestly, at 16, really quick. So my father passed the day after Christmas, and then his funeral was on my birthday, my 17th birthday. What I did was I became rebellious toward my mother. I became rebellious. I probably wasn't old enough, well, I wasn't, not in Maryland, old enough to drink, but I started drinking. I started sneaking out to the club. I started trying to fill the emptiness. Every moment without my father, it had to be filled with something that either took my mind off of it or something that numbed me in some kind of way so I wouldn't think about it, like, period. It wasn't until maybe around 19, so don't put a time on you mourning.
There's no time. There's no. Do you know how they say beauty is not linear? Like healing and grieving is not linear. Like the same way that you grieve, I don't grieve that way, and people need to understand that.
There's levels to it.
It don't take just 2 weeks to get over something at all.
It wasn't
For some it may, but for others it don't.
Exactly.
And like you
And then
were
I wanted to touch. I'm sorry, Britt. I wanted to touch on what she was saying. When she was saying like just kind of filling that void, because I felt myself doing it as well. Where it's like, I'm trying to do, and it's productive. I didn't go, like doing nothing crazy, but I still had to take some stuff off my plate. I was trying to do all these projects. I'm out. I'm trying to travel. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do whatever. And it's like, then COVID happened and the world shut down. Now I got to sit here. I got to deal with it. It just had me like, yo, you can't run from it. You have to go through it to really genuinely heal. And I feel like that brings me to my next point, where grief is not just about losing someone that has died. It's also in your relationships, your friendships, career change, anything. And I want us to kind of talk on that a bit too, because I feel like I'll speak on friendships as well, where it's like when you're losing someone, when you lose a friend, but they're still alive. It's not like, but things change.
Listen, there is grief in losing someone who is, that grief feel like, when someone passes away, that they're gone, right? Like, that they're gone, even if you don't want to believe that. But there is some serious grief in losing somebody who is still actively walking this earth.
It's hard.
And people don't talk about that. Not only is there grief in someone actively walking this earth, but there's also grief when change happens. Because grief literally just means losing something or someone. Like it is no longer present. And it doesn't have to mean like it's physically present, but figuratively and literally it may not be present. And we often like to skip over that, especially when you have homegirls. Let's talk about relationships, right? You have homegirls who go through their breakups, or you see women go through their breakups and people are like, get over it, you acting like that's the end of the world. There's a bunch of fish in the sea. And it's like, you have to understand that my time spent in that relationship looked like something. And so now that the access to that is revoked, it doesn't, it's not the same. The access is now revoked. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't look the same. You can't reach me the same. I can't reach them the same. That's a loss. It's like, yo, I used to do this. It's the memories, because you get flooded with memories. We have memories of people who are still alive today that we're no longer in close proximity with or have that access to.
So I'm gonna speak on that. So COVID, this whole period of like self-reflection and being by myself was very hard, but I feel like I'm like a phoenix. It needed to happen. So COVID happened when I was about to graduate. So literally I had so much stuff So literally I had so much stuff taken away from me. My graduation got taken away from me. I was in school for 4 years plus, working my butt off to like get scholarships and telling so many people that, I'm about to graduate, you about to see me on stage, and it all got taken away in the matter of weeks, months. So my family couldn't come and celebrate my accomplishments, all the things I've been through. And then also I went through a breakup. And then I also lost one of my really close friends. And granted, thankfully I didn't lose anybody close to me like a mom or a grandmother or anything. But I did experience grief because having that like best friend who I talk to all the time, and then them showing me their true colors and then me being forced to separate myself from that because I knew what I deserved. And I knew that situation, that friendship wasn't serving me anymore, to then losing a love that I had for somebody who was also not treating me the way that I deserved and wasn't no longer serving me, and being with that person every single day, waking up to that person, going to sleep to that person, and then not having them, and then being so far away from them because of COVID. I couldn't go and speak to them in person. I had to literally be in my room and cry, like literally cry sometimes, because it's like, damn, sorry, I apologize, I didn't mean to curse, but it's like, dang, I lost one of my best friends, and now I lost my man, and now I don't want to be a burden to the friends I still have. And my mom was like, okay, Court, it's been 2 weeks, you still tripping over this man who's not nothing, you still tripping over this girl who did you wrong, like, get over it. And it's just like,
It's not that simple.
it's not that simple.
It's not
Like,
that simple.
And if your
not
friends
that
feel like
simple.
you're a burden, then
them not
they're
your
not
friends.
your friends.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We can all be like a little
Overbearing
bit,
or
a little
something.
overbearing.
Yeah.
But if you're my friend, you already know that. You expect that to happen sometimes, depending on what I'm going through.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't look at the phone when I'm calling, be like, oh, I don't want to speak
Right.
to Sharice today, or.
Yeah.
And
whatever
thank God
the
none of my
case may
friends
be.
did do that. But just to touch back on how I actually got through that, I'm still going through it, like getting through it now.
Yeah.
But when that was happening, I was forced to be by myself because granted COVID. But what I did, like, I'm a very spiritual person. Granted, I'm also religious, but I take my spirituality very seriously. So that time I was able to just be in my room and just sit and meditate and reflect on the relationships I had with my dad and why I even chose that man, and the relationships I had with my mother, and the arguments and the disappointments that my family may have, did to me, and why I feel so hurt when somebody disappoints me that's not a family member. So I had to really reflect and meditate and really pray. Like, it was needed.
What is one vice or bad habit that you picked up during your mourning process, your grieving process?
Trying to just fill my space with people and not think, like, trying to always be around somebody that makes me laugh so I don't think about being sad or crying or anything.
So I don't know if I really picked up anything negative during this thing. Like, maybe my lack of communication to people and the people around me kind of got, bad. And in this space, I feel really unproductive. Like, I almost don't want to do anything because the thought is always, my grandmother is not even here to see this. And I didn't mention this earlier, but I didn't lose my mom, but my mom is in prison. And that's tough too, because the access to her is no longer the same. And so when you think about a lifetime away from somebody, that is grief too, because I don't have access to my parent. And I was born in a single family, raised in a single family household. Yeah. So my mom is my sole parent, you know, outside of what my grandmother provided for me. So, I just think that it's just really been all over the place, and not wanting to be productive and not being able to see the vision for anything outside of the current moment, because it's like, my grandmother's not here, my mother's not here, why do I need to even do any of this?
Yeah.
So
I can definitely speak to that. I think for me, I can kind of relate to what Brittany just said as far as like, well, Donna's not here, so am I really doing this for myself because this is what I want to do, or was I doing a lot of things to not impressed, but like, you want your parents to be proud of you. But for me, yeah, exactly. It was like I always talked to my mom every day, so not having her to talk to every day was driving me crazy. So I would do what Courtney did. I'm trying to surround myself with people. I'm trying to be out and about. I'm trying to fill my plate up to the point where it's too much. That's why I had to take a step back from a lot of things, including this project for a second, where I really had to sit down and like, yo, give yourself some time. Give yourself a little bit more grace, because you're trying to do too much. Yeah. Me trying to do too much, at first, I felt like it was good because I felt like I was filling the void. But after a while, it was just like, no, baby. You have to sit down. You have to pray. You have to heal. You have to really understand that what you just went through is something very serious, and it's life-changing, literally. So that was where I was. But now, I feel like I'm doing much better with my time management. I'm being more intentional about what projects I'm going to work on. What job am I going to take? Who am I going to do? But nothing comes before me taking care of me first. Right. That before any job, before any person's event, before any project, including this one.
Because if you're
Because
not good,
what am I gonna do?
Like,
If I'm sad, depressed, and here crying, and y'all came in here so we can film, and I'm just in here like,
right? That's
y'all gonna be like, I mean, we can push through, but sis, get it together.
I'm a strong believer that God, if you're spiritual and that's who you believe in, or if you spirituality, you know that we are already equipped with everything it is that we need to move about in life, and equipped it with everything needed
Yes, we
to
are.
get through a battle.
Yes.
You understand what I'm
Yes,
saying?
we
And
are.
I mean that literally and figuratively. We are always equipped for that. And I believe that, you know, in the passing of my grandmother and the access revoked of my mother, you know, God wanted to show me that there are other people, because I felt like at one point, like I can only call my grandmama, I can only speak to my mom about stuff. But then in this space, it's like no.
You had no choice.
Like I've been preparing you to show you that there are people around there willing to help. But see, something big had to happen for you to be able to appreciate that and to see that.
Yep.
And I thought it was crazy. And, you know, I was talking to one of my homegirls about it, and I was just like, you know, now that we talk about it, like, that could be a part of the lesson of why, like, this is so significant for me. And, you know, when it happened, I'm just like, I'm not ready. What am I going to do without my grandma? What am I going to do without my mother? And it's like, you're going to live.
yeah.
And I think, and I can speak to that as well, because what you just said, I literally felt like I experienced that. Like, yes, with my mom, it was like, okay, life is short. But really, when my best friend got killed, somebody shot her in the back of her head. And she was literally just at my mom's funeral with me months later. So that's on top of
Wicked
it.
world.
And that is really was like, take care of yourself, heal. But you got to get this stuff done. You know, like, you have to really push. And I hate that it had to be me losing people that was really close, not even just to death, but also friendships and stuff as well. Dating, realizing why a lot of the guys or whatever I've been entertaining over the years, just why? Like, why? Because it's not getting me anywhere. And it's like, but going through all of that, going through those motions is what pushed me to really get all of what I need to get out. Like, I want to leave this earth empty. I want to pour out everything God has put inside of me.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave and I feel like, dang, I done sat on this project. I done waited about that. I done procrastinated about that. So it's like, I feel that. I feel like, I hate that it had to be COVID happening. You losing your mom. This and all this. But it's like something in the midst of that was like, let's get it.
That fire under your butt. What is one piece of advice that each of us can give our audience about grief, and maybe like how to cope, or just something positive? Because I think oftentimes through grief, it's a lot of negativity attached to it, and you don't always feel good. But what's a positive thing that we can give our audience today about grief?
I'll start. So, my positivity or tip or advice for you all would be to be graceful with yourself and take your time, okay? Because a lot of the times, and this is me speaking from my own personal experiences, a lot of the times we want to just jump back to who we were before, or jump back to our happy self, or feeling like life is good. But it's a reason, what they say, it's a reason, a season, or lifetime. It's a reason for everything happening, right? It's a reason why we're going through what we're doing.
Yep.
Every life stage matters, and we can't skip through it. So definitely give yourself grace. Take that time to really understand who you are and who you're growing into. Because even if you think about it in the sense of a butterfly, like when a caterpillar is a caterpillar and they got to go through all them ugly phases and the cocoon and all that, but then it becomes that butterfly, it is completely different. But if it tries to skip those phases and try to skip that time, it will never manifest into what it's supposed to be. So making sure that you are focused on your grace and taking your time to heal properly.
Honestly, I don't even know how to follow up after that.
Right, because I was like, bam, mic drop.
I you know, I agree. Just taking that space and not to be so hard on yourself and allow yourself to grieve. We always want to jump back into our normal life, and you have to realize that in grief, you're in a new normal. Because what you knew to be true, what you knew to be something that you used to always do or always have, is no longer there. So we have to give ourselves that grace and understand that this is a new space that we're in. And that I just want to go back to feeling the same.
Yeah.
When things significant like this happen, you'll never be the same. And you have to
accept
own that.
Yeah.
You have to be okay with that, and you have to own that.
So what I would say is accountability, because one of my things was I was looking for another man to be like my father. So I would say hold yourself accountable, be graceful with yourself, like you said, but also have a reality check. Like, you're never going to find or run into a person that is exactly like that person that you're grieving. So not to, like, search for it in other people, because you will be disappointed every time, literally. Absolutely. So I would say that holding yourself accountable for how you feel while you're grieving, and make sure that you keep in check with yourself and your standards and your morals, even though you're grieving, but staying true to yourself and not, like, drifting off of a path and going into a path where this is not you. People don't even recognize you. You don't recognize you. Yeah. You don't recognize what you're doing. This is not the things that you would do. So that's what I would say.
I definitely
Courtney.
So a positive, some good advice I would give to our viewers with grief is that, for one, I do genuinely feel like everything happens for a reason, and that this grief is like you shedding something that needs to be let go. Granted, you're grieving because of something like really sad, really depressing, but I feel like that grief has came into your life in order for you to see something else right there. Like, you're probably so focused on this right here, but there's something right there, that blessing right there that you need to go to, but you gotta shed that extra weight.
The ladies just gave some amazing advice, including myself. I want you guys to make sure that you are taking care of yourself.
Yep, absolutely.
We're going to end up this discussion here, but be sure to follow us on Instagram at Reclaim Her Throne, and keep up with every episode as we are dropping them, okay?
Yes.
I'm your host, Jewel Carter, and we have PG with the T,
Courtney Lene.
Reese Rowe, and it's the wrap, guys. We're out.
Bye, guys.
Woo, child, that discussion almost brought tears to my eyes. Our conversation got really intense, and we gave so many amazing tips. I want to give a special shout out to the ladies in our crew for putting this all together, and I want you all to make sure that you are taking good care of yourselves during this pandemic. No matter what happens, straighten your crown, hold your head high, and do everything that you were put on this earth to do. All right? Thank you again for tuning in for another episode of Colors of Queenhood, and make sure you stick around for episode 4. It will be dropping soon. See ya!